All right.
Yeah, intro. Intro.
How many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
I talked to a student recently at one of our woke college campuses who said she is required in every class to introduce herself and to give her pronouns. Well, I'm Ted Cruz, and my pronoun is kiss my ass.
I love that cartoon that Kaz made. Thanks again for making that, brother. And guess what? Mr. Ooman is back, safely locked inside the bunker command center, not the mobile command center, the bunker command center. We became engrossed in a private conversation about steel belting versus steel treaded. Anyways, today is just a wow day. Not just our lives, not just everything else that we deal with, but wow. And maybe the subject matter isn't important to you. I think everything we talk about here, every little thing we detail, and it is the devil in the details, folks, that tells us where this nation is going. Now, you and I both know, you and I, all of us know that morality is what a nation is grounded in. Without it, you wander aimlessly from corruption to crime, et cetera, et cetera. You know, third world plastic banana republic type stuff. Here we are, folks. The Epstein list from the Jizzy lawsuit, the Epstein estate lawsuit. It's been released. I still don't know who John Doe number 107 is or whatever. I don't give a shit. Right? I really don't. They're all there, folks. They're all scumbags. Now get this. I found this especially entertaining. And even though we're a prepper channel, we are satire, humor, jokes. But get this. This Epstein list we knew was coming out. Everyone knew it was coming out. It was coming out this week. Well, one of the kooks has flown the coop. Bill Clinton, that's right. The honorable Bill Clinton, there's nothing honorable about the man, was spotted in Mexico as the Epstein documents were poured into public view. Right? We love to play. I think we love to play Where's Waldo, right? Like I got up in the corner here, the John cartoon from the Cavs with a Waldo shirt. Where's Waldo? Bill Clinton spotted in Mexico just in time to be out of the country because the Epstein documents have revealed to the public that the former BJ man in chief, Bill Clinton, quote, likes them young. Now, just in case there was going to be a need to arrest people, Bill be like, I'm next door. Be right back. That's it, folks. You've got congressmen quitting, resigning, leaving behind millions of dollars in shakedown money. You bet. They're fleeing the country. As far as I'm concerned, Bill Clinton has fled the country just in case he was going to be charged with a crime. Even though we know his good buddy, Joe Biden, would never allow him to be arrested. You have to wonder, what is it that Joe Biden is willing to do? Who is he willing to drag behind the bus, throw under the bus, put out for public pillory so that he, Joe Biden, is out of the limelight? Oh, yeah, Hunter Biden is extremely pleased with this because he didn't need Jeffrey Epstein. Joe Biden's boy, Hunter, he didn't necessarily like him young as Bill does, but, he had plenty of coke and hookers to take care of his needs. But yeah, Bill's like, when everything's settled down and everyone's quiet, hey, I'll be right back. You just hold on there. Yep. Expect more, folks. Expect more. Now, I touched on this. I want to go in a little more. I touched on the topic, Joe Biden and his claiming that white supremacy, that's the danger for the country. Today is the 4th. On the 6th, he plans on giving a speech. On the 6th, he plans on giving a speech, in honor of all the January 6th protesters. He's going to crap all over us, patriots, vets, anyone who thinks that cheating happened. It's incredible, folks. What really needs to be looked at is what happened on January 6th to make sure Biden got into the White House and that Democrats maintain power and supremacy, right? I used to think anyways, that if you got a congressman involved and they made a public stink about some illegal, corrupt, shitty activity by the government, that was it. The media would take it. They would make the story go live everywhere, and the people who made the mistake would be out of office, run out of town, right? But here we have an example. Republican Clay Higgins out of Louisiana. He had photos of the FBI ghost buses in D.C. at Union Station, right? And they showed these to Christopher Wray. They had evidence that the FBI was busing people in, right? There's tons of evidence, but no. It's white supremacy in America, and you and I are the bad guys, the baddies. It's going to get worse, folks. They need distractions. And Orlando, thank you for sending me the distractions prediction. Folks, the psychics who were, 99% wrong? Next month the world ends, right? The psychics are even going, you know what? You don't got to be psychic to figure this out. There's going to be major distractions. I love it. When there's no reason to be scared, the psychics go full fear porn. And when there's every absolute reason based on fact, reports, and government history, behavioral history, right? The psychic is like, well, there's not as much to worry about here, but there's going to be a lot of distractions. I'm like, there's going to be a lot of distractions, and you better pay attention because they need to do anything they can to make sure everybody is distracted, scared, etc. Anyways, Joe Biden and his speech, it's coming up. Expect not to be shocked, but expect to be disgusted. Literally disgusted. Okay, where do I go now? Oh, here it is. I wanted to hit you with this one. After that, okay, Joe Biden, you're going to call us white supremacists. There's video, folks. Pictures and video of a January 6th protester. He's not doing any, he's not lighting bombs off at cops. He's not throwing bricks at cops. He's not shooting fireworks that explode at cops. And he's grabbed. In other words, he is a peaceful, not mostly peaceful, but a true peaceful protester, right? The cop in D.C. on January 6, 2020, grabbed an American by his face and threw him over a wall down onto the lower deck. I don't know how the guy is even walking, much less alive. You don't get dropped 25, 30 feet onto marble steps, marble, ground, and fucking walk away. Anyways, the media says, hey, I think we have a case of excessive force. And you know what? When you see someone throw someone over a wall, and down. It doesn't take an expert, but the fucking media says, we think the cops broke the law. Does it take an expert to see an American policeman grabbing an American and throwing that American over the wall and making that American fall 20 feet and more down onto basically rock? Doesn't take an expert to point out attempted murder, does it? But that's Joe Biden's vision of what America should be. Powerful stormtroopers assaulting and trying to kill Americans. Crazy, folks. When I said just wow, I mean it. I mean it. And folks, we got more. Oh, I've got more for you. I really do. And I did touch on this morning. Trump says, he wrote an article, How I Will End Joe Biden's Border Disaster on Day One. I thought about this some more, and I thought, wait a minute. Joe Biden ended America's energy independence by killing the Keystone Pipeline on day one. Did he not? That's right. He was inaugurated, and his first order of business was killing the Keystone Pipeline, which was bringing cheap oil from Canada down into America. It didn't have to go down the West Coast. It didn't have to come from the Gulf Coast. It didn't need to come from Saudi Arabia or Africa across the ocean. No, it comes from land, across land, and through land, very protected. Joe Biden killed it, folks. So maybe it's not such a stretch to believe that Donald Trump, right, can fix the immigration problem. Now, okay, we can fix the immigration problem, but guess what? We can be there at the border. We're like, that's it. Day one, we're done with you fuckers, right? You got cops, you got the military, you got the National Guard, you got, well, honorable Americans who say, I volunteer to stop this shit right now. What do you do about the 10 million Mexicans and other illegals that are here? Central Americans, South Americans, Africans, people from the Asian subcontinent. What are we going to do to get them out? Anyways, this is what Trump says. On my first day back in office, I will terminate every open borders policy of the Biden administration and immediately restore the full set of strong Trump border policies. Now, I don't know if I want to call it Trump border policies. How about American border policies? Now, I know Trump needs to get Trump's name out there, so Trump is much more recognizable at the Trump election in 2020 Trump 4. But here's the deal. We all know who the fuck Trump is. It's not like he has to go, and I have a strong Vivek Ramaswamy border policy. We know who he is. And by the way, Vivek is continuing to make news to get himself in the news. I think he's making a push, folks, for the VP role. I don't think it's the best pick. I think Carrie Lake is a better pick. I just do. I think she's a better pick. She has a better experience, in my opinion, and she's been kicked around quite a bit. So I believe she'll come out swinging and fighting. Okay. Trump's second paragraph. He says, this is after restoring a full set of border policies that are American first. He says, then we will begin a record-setting deportation operation. Joe Biden has given us no choice. The millions and 10 million, the millions of illegal aliens who have invaded under Biden require a record number of removals. This is just common sense. I really understand that, folks. It is common sense. It wouldn't be easy. So interestingly, and I'll even say intelligently, Trump addresses this issue of how do you find them? How do you get them removed, deport them? He says, to achieve this goal, I will make clear to every department and to state and local governments that we must use all resources and authorities available. We will shift massive portions of federal law enforcement to immigration enforcement. including parts of the DEA, ATF, FBI, and DHS. I also think he should include the EPA, OSHA, FBI. Oh, no, he already did FBI, CIA, and IRS. What a brilliant way to defang the FBI. And he should just also go after the DOJ, the Department of Justice. If you're a Department of Justice employee, get your ass down to the Mexican border and stand there, and we'll have a camera on you. And if you are caught allowing anyone across, it's your ass. You're fired. So you better start tackling anybody coming through the fence. Anyways, folks, I really am interested to see where this all goes. It has hit the fan big time. We literally have been invaded by a fucking army of anti-American economic terrorists, not to mention plain old vicious regular terrorists. Yes, wow. Wow. Let's just get into a little bit more wow. The New York Times, well, a moron there anyway, at the New York Times newspaper, has defended Harvard's ex-president Claudine Gay and says, this is an attack on diversity. Do you believe that, America? You see, when you've lost the language, you know you're in a war. See, this is SHTF is not just zombies and aliens. It's not just the power going out and food in short supply. SHTF is government out of control. We used to discuss 10 years ago. I'm now into my 10th year. We've had our 10th year anniversary back in December. We didn't make a lot of fanfare about it. We used to talk about, are we going to experience as America when shit hits the fan? Extreme rule of law or without the rule of law? Lo and behold, here is your answer. It is both. That is correct, both. Extreme rule of law. You will not say anything about black people, brown people, any color people. You'll not say anything about the craziest amongst us, the LGBTQIA plus crowd. You will not talk about medical issues. You will not talk about political issues. You will not talk about election issues. You will not talk about the military issues. They're extremely vigilant on forcing that on us. At the same time, they're without the rule of law when it comes to the southern border, to bribery, extortion, duress by government agencies and individual government officials threatening America, Americans, and individuals with penalties. Right? It's crazy. And there's no law for illegals. There's no law for law-breaking fruitcakes. Hey, you want to molest some children in public at one of your drag queen shows? You go right ahead. Unbelievable. Yeah, you know it. And with regard and respect to Claudine Gay, who is now an ex-president of Harvard, it's not an attack on diversity. It's telling you who have committed academic and intellectual fraud that you are busted. So go out and get your own college degree and quit borrowing the work of others. Now, there it is. And we do have a correction. Prepared mind alert. Oh, this is terrible. Top story. All right. Top story is a correction. We made a mistake. Claudine Gay is not becoming a regular teacher and being paid $900,000. What the story actually is that even though she's resigned in absolute dishonorable, despicable, disgraceful manner as president of Harvard, Claudine Gay is going to likely likely be allowed to keep the $900,000 salary. Just it's like, wow, it's a severance pay. Yeah, we're sorry to see you go, but go ahead and keep the money. It's not like it's $1,000. It's $900,000. Where do I get that job so I can get fired and get that money? Sheesh, I tell you. Unfucking believable. Literally unbelievable. By the way, Mr. Ooman is back. He's literally back in front of the camera. He's back in the shop, the garage. He's dressed up, bundled in Northman clothes, beanie hat, big fluffy ass jacket. Well, I'm drinking a hot toddy, but it's medicinal. But Ooman there, he's freezing his ass off after going all the way down, way past me and into Florida. Deep, not so dark, warm Florida, where alligators are trained and they're fed the flesh of fruitcake liberals so that they know who to attack when shit at the fan gets really bad. Now, let us move on. Oh, by the way, yeah, Ooman's back. So get your comments, questions, thoughts, predictions. We're going to continue to take predictions into 2024 as we go into 2024. You bet. Now, let's get nasty. These fruitcakes, folks, talk about wow. These fruit salad tossing, butt bullseye playing freaks, they're not going away. When we say it has hit the fan and it's on, it's not just, hey, we caught you guys. We saw you. You're done. Get out of here. And they like hang their head in shame. Yeah, we're really a bunch of piece of shit perverted freaks. And they scuttle off. No, they do not scuttle off. They put their heels in and they get worse. In the state of Ohio, a candidate for the House has been disqualified for not disclosing their birth name. Well, of course they wouldn't. They're a tranny. That's right, a guy, someone who has a penis and testicles. I'm transitioning is what they say. So they can continue to keep their pecker and their balls. In fact, more and more trans men who are supposedly women, they're lesbian. That's right, they're lesbian. That's interesting. Just because, now, let's pretend for a second that I am 6'6", 285 pounds of man meat who's decided he's going to be a trans meat. I'm like, hey, I'm going to transition into a woman. All 285 pounds of me. All this Swedish, German, Celtic manhood is going to transition. Do I have to wear a dress? Do I have to wear women's clothes? In fact, what are women's clothes? I think this fine Polo Loco shirt is women's clothes. I think the shirt that Bihana got me. This is the one. This was given to me by Heidi. And then there's the Bihana who gave me the other one that I wear. It's got the AR-15 on it. Ooh, AR-15, right? That's a great trans shirt. And then I've got my artesian Penelope shirt, the orange one that's bright. That one's so bright when I wear it on the show, it really messes the camera up, but still I wear it from time to time. Let's see. Then I got my hungry cock or hungry pecker, a thirsty pecker, whatever the fuck that shirt is that I wear. And that came from Dana. Anyways, I think they're all fine tranny shirts. You can't tell me what to wear as a trans woman, right? If that was me, do I have to shave my beard off? In fact, folks, I've seen a fucking trans freak that had a full beard, cheeks, chin, upper lip, with makeup and fucking fishnet stockings. And I had to fucking bust out laughing at it because it looks fucking stupid. But if, right, I can claim to be a trans. Well, I started yesterday. Go fuck yourself. Do I have to be on drugs to be a trans? Can I just identify as that? the only thing is there any value to doing that? Why the fuck would someone say that and do that? Anyways, this idiot trans person. I mean, see, back to the Ohio candidate, disqualified, did not disclose birth name. They lie to themselves, absolutely, and fool themselves. Oh, yeah, I'm a girl. I mean, if I were to look in the mirror at my manhood, I would not see anything remotely resembling a girl. But I guess beauty and gender is in the eyes of the beholder. These fucking people, right? So they lie to themselves, absolutely. Then they lie convincingly at people like us. And the idiots play along with their psychopathy, their lie, right? But they can't stop there. Then they have to lie and break the law, like this Ohio candidate. They lie about everything. Oh yeah, they're child groomers too, by the way. They're gonna lie on everything and make it. Well, you gotta believe me. That's my name. How dare you? Now get this. Freaks, 100%. I told you so. I'm going to say that today. I told you so. High school shooter in Perry, Iowa has been identified. Fucking sirens going off, right? And big tech, social media, mainstream media, they're doing everything they can to erase this person. His identity, who he is, was, claims to be, believes in, thinks, has practiced, etc. Now, it's not Dylan Mulvaney of Bud Light fame, or rather, infamy. Right? The fruitcake that killed an iconic American institution, Budweiser beer. Say it, and say it in shame. Dylan, it's not Dylan Mulvaney. It is Dylan Butler. Butt Bugler. Dylan Butt Bugler Butler is, folks, an incredible left-wing radical LGBTQIA plus fruitcake activist. Has a Reddit account on TikTok. And get this name, this Reddit account name, Dylan Pickle 1996. Folks, that's how sick this country is. Half the fucking country, the Democrats, the socialists, the weak-kneed, lily-livered independents, they're like, it's okay if Dylan wants to say he's a girl, then she is a girl, and it's fine with me. I'm not judgmental. I'm judgmental as fuck. You're a bunch of weirdos. Get some help. Get on your pills, and not the kind that turn you into a estrogen-laced moron. Anyways, this Dylan Butler appears in social media and all over the place with gay and trans flags, pride flags. All that is a big feature in this person's life. Well, this high school shooter, Dylan Butt Bugle and Butler, right? Oh, he also has the hashtag gender fluid in one of his posts. Yeah, I'm gender fluid. That means one day I'm a boy, then the next minute I could be a girl or a hamster or a fire hydrant or a giraffe or a human toilet being used down at the Greyhound bus station. Right. Wow. That's who these people are, folks. Anyways, there is a video of Butt Bugler Butler that was captured by, get this, folks, the White House correspondent, Simon Atiba. Now, when I said White House correspondent, you're thinking, wait a minute, why would a White House correspondent capture a video, which has now been released so everyone knows who Butt Bugle and Dylan is, right? Simon Atiba, by the way, he is the real journalist who is from Africa, I believe, who is treated to politically motivated racial discrimination against himself. Hashtag, we can't have any black journalists that aren't socialists too. That's right. That's the Simon Atiba. Anyways, he got the video of this fruitcake before they pulled it off the internet. So in the video, Butt Bugler Butler boasts about his unisex backpack. You mean there's boy and girl backpacks? So he's got a unisex one, right? He talks about Satan, has weird scenes of himself swinging a stick, acting out his shooting exchange. Anyways, Dallas County Sheriff Adam Infante. There's a fucking weird name for a cop dealing with someone who is probably a child groomer. Sheriff Adam Infante said during his press conference that 3 or more people were injured. Come on, man. Is it 3 or more? 3 or more people were injured during the attempted mass murder. Now, actually, he said they're calling it an attack. No. He had a gun and was shooting people. So at least 3 people were shot at Perry High School. Okay, so a leftist Democrat, fruit salad, butt bugling freak, went to a high school in Perry, Iowa, where it is Dallas County. This story is getting weirder and weirder. What the hell is in my hot toddy? The good stuff. Anyways, 2 students and an administrator and maybe others were shot, but not dead. And by the way, the trans fruit, Dylan, Butt Bugler Butler, killed itself with a gun after failing to murder everyone it could find. So that's good news. So stupid, so incompetent that everyone survived its shooting rampage. But freak nonetheless. And gladly, I'll point out that their bullet, the bullet of they, them, missed the target. And now it's time to get on to you guys. Ooh, okay, Mr. Ooman. Hey, where do you want to start, man? You're back. We've got a great crowd today. So get your comments in. I've got a lot to talk about, but hell, let's get to you guys first. We got Chin Music. He says, John, Daily Wire just reported 5 dead in the high school shooting in Iowa. An IED has been found. Now, that is fascinating, Chin Music. Fascinating. Because the story I read was not an old one. It was relatively fresh from the press. Right before I came on air, about an hour before I grabbed that article, made a few notes about Butt Bugler. So we went from 3 shot to 5 dead, plus an explosive device. I find this fascinating, almost conspiracy theory worthy, in fact, because if you are correct, then I am mistaken, or rather my source, a nearly mainstream media internet news channel. It sounds to me like they brought in a few professionals, because a fruitcake whack job who's more concerned about weenie tucking themselves, so they're you know what the weenie tuck is. Would they be dedicated to building an IED, an improvised explosive device? Very interesting, Chin. Thank you, sir. I'm going to have to keep a close eye on this stuff. Mr. Ooman, where do we go next? We got James Nicholson checking in. He says, evening, John. Brandon, a.k.a. Joe Biden, should know about white supremacy. He is the one hanging out with the KKK. Hey. He also hangs out at his yacht club where them other boys are allowed to be here, but only if they do the dishes. Yeah, and I can't tell you how many times Joe Biden, let's go Brandon, used the N-word in Congress decades ago. Decades meaning, yeah, he spent his whole fucking life in Congress or the Senate screwing us all over. Hanging out with the KKK. You mean like the Grand High Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, Senator Byrd, who was also given a stunning, spectacular eulogy upon his death by Hillary Clinton, who apparently also approved of his KKK standing. In fact, why was he allowed? Oops, Chin Music's back. He says, now they say 1 dead, 5 wounded. They can't make up their mind. Which lie are we supposed to leave? Anyways, terrible, terrible tragedy. I'm glad that the fruitcake took its own life, saved us a lot of court trial and money. But yes, the media doesn't want you to know that these fruit salad tossing freaks are murderous, as well as child grooming thugs, punks, bitches, etc. Okay, thank you, Mr. Uman, for being so sharp on it, man. Staying up on it. All right, let's roll on. Who is next? Oh, 1 second. Make sure I get the old Signal app. All righty. We got, name redacted is back. He says, as to the siege upon us, big government is pushing the white supremacy narrative again, but has been. I remind you that they have publicly stated that they consider all against them as insurgents. You bet. If you are a parent opposed to school homosexual pressuring from adults, you're a white supremacist, you're a racist, you're a Nazi, you're a domestic terrorist. If you're against any government institution at local, state, or federal level, or international level, United Nations, European Union, World Economic Forum, they're just feeding us bugs because they know what's best for us. We're insurgents. We're terrorists. That's what they think of us, while they invite in as many terrorists as wish to come across the border. Okay, gotta love it, man. Name redacted continues. They have also said they honed their tactics in Afghanistan and are ready to loose them here upon us, I suppose. Really? They've honed their tactics of finding white supremacists in Afghanistan? Wow. Here's what I need to tell the Joe Biden, Department of Justice, Attorney General, etc. What I need you to do is drive around the country, and if you want to find the insurgents in this country, look for any military insignia on car, home, motorcycle, business, etc. That is going to be probably 90% Trump supporting Republicans. Now, if you want to get even more specific on finding the domestic KKK white supremacist terrorists, anyone that has a Trump flag, bumper sticker, uses the capital T a little too frequently, why don't you go arrest them? Just start doing it. Bring it on. Show us how tough you are, you bunch of limp-wristed, skinny jeans wearing fruitcakes in Washington, D.C. That place is populated with them, folks. That's the one place in the country that is probably a majority of crack sniffers. All right, Mr. Uman, let's keep going, man. We got a two-part from Chin Music here, I think. He says, Mikey Biden is suing Texas over the razor wire our state has installed. I know what he's talking about. I'm thinking Mikey is Mikey G. Has Mikey G shaken the salt at you, Mr. Uman? No, he's not shaking the salt on you? Come on, man, Mikey. Step right up and shake some salt, man. Ree! I'm sorry. We do not allow salt. We use the pepper shaker on the Prepared Mind channel. It's not it's I don't know. I'll think of something funnier later. Anyways, what had happened down in Texas is the governor of Texas and the state of Texas has decided they need to protect their borders since the federal government has absolutely refused. And in fact, their policy is now to let illegals in and invade not only the United States of America as a country, but in particular the state of Texas, which has vested financial, social, political, military, legal, educational, medical interests in protecting themselves. So the federal government said, hey, we're going to sue you. You can't put up razor wire to protect yourself. That's our job. So they're actually suing so they can cut the wire. It's amazing. They won't do their fucking jobs, but the lawyers, and you know what they look and smell like in Washington, D.C., they want to sue so that the wire has to come down and the invasion can continue unhindered. Thanks, Chin Music. I'm glad to hear that, man. All right. Oh, no, we're going to go to Who's Your Life. I thought I was going to get to slip one of my stuffers, and I got some good stuff. But hey, you guys come first. You always do. Thank you, everyone, also for the New Year's super chats, donations, cans of spam, etc. Really appreciate it. Hoosier says it's going to be an interesting election year. Shit is coming like diarrhea through a liberal's asshole. That is really colorful, Hoosier. That is extremely colorful. Thank you. I appreciate that. Wow. All right, you guys, hold on to your stuff there. You got to hold on to your new. Here we go. I have to get into the Epstein list. Epstein list time real quick. Former FBI Director Louis Freeh. That's right, Clinton's buddy and Democrat perv partner. He is in the Epstein documents. Way to go, FBI Louis Freeh. Join the side. Go to the dark side. Also named, would you believe it? Epstein apparently called Leonardo DiCaprio. Surprise, surprise. Bruce Willis? Ooh, that's interesting. And many more to come, folks. We must distract from Biden and Hunter and the impeachment and everything else that's going on. They're just throwing, folks, they're throwing so much shit against the wall. These unsealed documents, I know. It's a distraction. You bet. Did you know that Michael Jackson visited Epstein's house in Palm Beach, Florida? And we all know that Michael is a child-loving freak, or was. No way. No. Ask Macaulay Culkin, the child star from the 90s, who apparently had a lot of sleepovers at Neverland Ranch in California, Michael Jackson's fruitcake hideaway. It gets better, folks. It gets better. Trust me. Or is this just more? I mean, I don't want to shock and scare anyone, but billionaire Hyatt Hotels, the executive chairman of the board, whose last name is Prickster. Yeah, you've heard that one before, right? Another leftist Prickster member. Sister, wife, cousin, brother, fat ass in Illinois. This one, though, is Thomas Prickster from the left-wing Prickster family. He is in the Epstein case documents. Surprise! Another slimy chunk of shit Democrat is an Epstein child abuser, apparently, allegedly, supposedly. I'm not shocked, not in the least. All right, let's jump back into your questions, your comments. Ooh, man, what do we got? Statement of fact coming from Chin Music. The only things communists distribute equitably, equally, are envy, misery, and heartache. Really? Pick up any history book and surprise, that's a fact. That is a fact. I want to ask you guys this. Thank you, Mr. Music. Do you think they're going to release more information on the Epstein case, more names, more events, more surprises? I think that they need to. They need to release more big names. Wait a minute. Let's go even further with this. Do you think any state or federal Department of Justice or Attorney General's office is going to prosecute any of these people for their participation? And if they're not going to prosecute, are they going to even investigate the claims? Hell, they made some outrageous claims against Trump, got a federal search warrant to go into the former president's home, rifle through Melania's panty drawer, looking for documents, holding his entire estate hostage at gunpoint, the FBI, just to open a case and prosecute him. And it's all been thrown out. In fact, today, President Trump told the court they need to go after Jack Smith, prosecutor for the Attorney General piece of shit, Merrick Garland. They need to go after Jack Smith for violating court orders regarding the case. I really hope and wish and think it's possible, folks. These people are so out of their mind. I mean, remember when Trump derangement syndrome was brand new? Do you remember that? When it was a brand new thing and we're all like, Trump derangement idiots. It is so commonplace now. As the nation has declined intellectually, the left-wing idiots, it's down. They've gone off the fucking screen. They're off the screen. They're down. They're way down there. You got to look. It's like, you guys are that fucking stupid. You're way down there. The answer is yeah. That's where they're at. That is where they are at. That's how stupid they are. Folks, that is dangerous, scary, dangerous in my book. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Once again, as described in Zero Dark 30 this morning, keep it simple. Everyone needs those things. Everyone should see why as we go through daily cataloging, documenting, discussing everything that's going on. You should get prepared. All right, Mr. Uman, let's have some more fun, shall we? And Charles Gentry checks in, and he says, they are so damn crooked, they have to screw their socks on. That I've never heard that. I've never heard that one. That's a good one. What I can tell you is there's such sleaze bags that they could screw a snake if they would hold it still, right? That's how slimy these people are. They're just nasty. Anyways, Charles, thanks, man. Appreciate that. We've only been provided 37 separate Epstein documents, and I thought they were going to hold off until the 22nd. Or are there two things happening here? We got the Jizzy documents and then the lawsuit documents. What a fucking mess we have. Mr. Uman, who wants to step up next? And by the way, hold on there, James. By the way, I have an article I need to read that is going to make you scratch your head and wonder what the fuck. Very interesting stuff. Okay, Mr. Uman, let's get back to this. James Nicholson is back. He says, hey, if you're paying feds to do a job that you end up having to do, why do you keep sending them more money? I'll tell you exactly why, James. The people of Texas will continue to send all their money, or the IRS will show up with guns and point them in people's faces and say, you owe us your tax money. You owe us our tax money. I would love it if the federal government lied to us individually and said, please check which box on the form you want. Do you want your money to go to education? Do you want your money to go to the medical industry? Do you want your federal tax money to go to the military? Do you want your federal tax money to go to pick your fucking bullshit, right? So that you're like, well, my money was sent, I pulled it from one thing and I'm funding the military. It's like, ooh, military. Yeah, fishnet stockings, men pretending to be women as officers in the Pentagon. No, I'm not sending my money to the military for that. I'll send it to education now. Man, yeah, it would be funny if they said, where do you want your money to go? I want my money to go into... Right. Now, if you could say, all my money is supposed to go to border protection, and since they're not doing their job, I'm not sending any money. That would be great. I wish we could send in a form and tell them, and they would have to read it, exactly how pissed off we are about them. I think the government should have to do something to earn the tax money, not just exist and say, we are going to take it from you whether you like it or not. All righty then. We've got James. Thank you, sir. Let's do one more, and then I'm going to talk about a couple of things that are very important to me. Chin Music says, John, it's really hideous, but how else are those geeks and slobs going to get laid? And that's the problem, Chin Music. Getting laid as human beings has been a pastime that has made sure these species has continued on the planet, right? Now their idea, I don't know what these people and their ideas are, but this is what they think is going to get them laid. Oh, see, I'm a guy, I'm a giant nerd and a geek, so I'm going to pretend to be a girl, join a sorority, guilt and threaten anybody with a lawsuit if they try kicking me out. Wow. Just unbelievable. Wow. I'm telling you. What a bunch of fruitcakes. Thank you, Chin. Now, I have to be extremely careful, folks, because there are articles out there now about the Florida Surgeon General. He is an actual real doctor, unlike this guy, this little fucking worm.
Was it a mistake in so many states and so many localities to see schools closed as long as they were?
Well, I don't want to use the word mistake.
Well, but did we pay too high a price?
There will be deleterious collateral consequences.
Little fruitcake. Talking about fruitcakes. So I must be very careful here, right? Because the Florida Surgeon General, he is a government official. I should be able to quote him verbatim, except artificial intelligence, AI, YouTube will pull this video down lickety-split if I talk about the Jim Jones juice. But the Surgeon General has let out of the bottle the genie. His name is, of course, the Surgeon General, Dr. Joseph Ladapo. And he has a warning. A warning is coming, folks, based on overwhelming and very frightening evidence that the Jim Jones juice provided by Pfizer and Moderna, they assured us they were safe. Looks like there's overwhelming evidence, folks, that it's contaminated with very nasty, bad materials and DNA and other things. And people are getting this, of course. Now, Dr. Joseph Ladapo is saying this fact, the fact that they were contaminated, not safe, was not disclosed to the public when the JJJ was rolled out. And he says, in fact, Pfizer JJJ was injected into billions of arms, and it was not the same one used in the clinical trials. There was a, quote, bait and switch. The human population of the United States of America and around the world received process 2 materials from Pfizer and Moderna. Okay, they got process 2, not process 1 that was tested. The so-called stuff that was rolled out to the human public was contaminated with excess amounts of plasmids and other garbage, right? Now, this is a quote from the Florida Surgeon General, Dr. Joseph Ladapo. He is a doctor. He is a professional. He is a person in charge. He is an official. He is an expert. He knows what the fuck he's talking about. He has access to reports, statistics, data associated with injuries and other problems having to do. As a state Surgeon General, Dr. Joseph Ladapo has a responsibility to protect the public, the public's interest, and to let the public know what is and is not safe based on evidence provided by laboratory experiment, injury reports, etc., etc., etc. He came up, and this is his quote. And I have to substitute the V word. And you know what the V word is. Whoosh, 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 in the arm. These V's are not appropriate for use in human beings, says Florida Surgeon General Dr. Joseph Ladapo. He declared that. He made that in a statement calling for a 100% complete stop of the JJJ. That's some serious shit. Well, well, well. You, my friends, you right-wing nuts, were right all along. Wow. Mr. Uman, did any new questions, comments come in, or have I kept everyone at bay with that? I want to continue. I'm going to move away from the JJJ and move to the JEW story. That's right, folks. The former Harvard president, Claudine Gay, right, is now scared of racial hatred. Well, she refused to protect terrified Jews, Israelis, who at her school that she was president in charge of did nothing to stop the threats of violence, the actual violence, the discriminatory language and behavior. Folks, when I was in the world of corporate America, if you were to say something that made someone feel uncomfortable, you had to look into it, investigate it, and stop it. Now, someone, let's see, a guy flirting with a girl in the workplace. Ooh. Or a girl flirting with a guy in the workplace. Ooh, if someone was uncomfortable, that was sexual harassment, and you had to stop immediately or face the consequences. Here we've got pro-Palestinian, pro-murder, pro-mass murder, pro-attack, terrorist, rape, baby murder, paternicide, matricide, genocide. That's what these people all want. Screaming about Israel and Jews and how they all need to be murdered and wiped off the face of the planet. I think that's a little more serious than witnessing a guy telling a girl, you know what, I'd like to give you the bone. Which one is more threatening, dangerous, disturbing, destructive, bad for the world? Yeah, screaming crowds of left-wing lunatics threatening to murder every Jew and Israeli and their supporters and anyone who would think of supporting, in fact, anyone who doesn't agree with the pro-Palestinian mass murder genocide freak crowd. You're right, they'll attack you. And Claudine Gay, former president of Harvard, is now sniveling like a bitch, claiming she's scared of racial hatred. You see, it's all about them. Now, if anyone is threatening Claudine Gay, it's probably other Black American PhDs who have had their PhD work stolen by former president of Harvard, Claudine Gay. They're probably the ones who are threatening her, but maybe they're going to sue her in court. We'll find out, folks. You know, I'm out of time, so very quickly. I'm tired of this double standard the left has. At the Art Institute of Chicago, a student has had to file a lawsuit against the school over more of this anti-Israel, anti-Jew stuff. Folks, racial and religious discrimination, I think we've all agreed is wrong. Right? But it's not just against Jews and Israelis that's going on out there. It's also against white people, Christians, and in particular, large white males. We're all being racially discriminated against and also religiously discriminated against. And I can't wait for some government entity to do that with me so that I can file a lawsuit against them. I need to find me a good attorney, because if I claim anti-white male Christian discrimination, I don't think I'm going to have a hard time proving in court that I am a white male, especially if they say, well, throw it on the fucking table, John, let's prove it. But then they're going to go, wait a minute, just because you have a penis, that doesn't make you a male. Well, I identify as one. I always have. But then again, I guess if it serves my purpose, I might have to be gender fluid, right? I'm being facetious and a smart ass. Seriously, guy, can you imagine me with fucking eyeliner? Anyways, hey, chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed. Semper Fi, get prepared. I'll see you Friday morning, 0 dark 30.